It's official as we have multiple new Lakers updates to go over today surrounding both LeBron James and Luka Doncic. We're going to break down these updates and discuss what they mean going forward as they have major implications on the Lakers. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks, as they play a huge game tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. But before we get into it, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been absolutely unbelievable. If you want to help us towards our big goal now of 20,000 subscribers, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys again for your continued support over here on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. And obviously, the Lakers are still playing games. Another back-to-back, this time against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. We have a couple of big updates to go over, both in the form of LeBron James as well as Luka Doncic. Well, some interesting stats. Stay tuned for that at the end of the video. But ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over here. Let's start with the big piece of news that just dropped minutes ago surrounding Luka Doncic and tonight's game against the Milwaukee Bucks. Lakers star Luka Doncic will not play tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks as he continues to manage a sprained ankle. Thursday marks the final game in LA's brutal 6 games and 8 days stretch of the schedule. LA has gone 3-2 so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, Luka is unfortunately not playing tonight. Now, a lot of fans expected this. I expected this a little bit. The problem is now we're diving into a bunch of different things. Fantastic game from Luka Doncic against the Denver Nuggets last night. Just a fantastic game, a huge win, no doubt about it. The Lakers desperately needed that win, and obviously the Nuggets were resting Jamal Murray. They were resting Nikola Jokic. But one of the big things now is the standings, which we'll dive into in a little bit here. And each game matters so much as there's not many games left in the season. If you're trying to hold on to the 2 seed, which is now very much so in reach, but even again, they're going to stay out of the playing game, it seems. And we'll have updates on Rui Hachimura as well and LeBron James in a minute here. But it seems like despite, LeBron James and Rui Hachimura not being here, the Lakers are obviously still playing really good basketball, but he is not playing tonight, and it's because of the sprained ankle. Now, the last thing I want the Lakers to do is obviously rush Luka Doncic back into playing every back-to-back. He's played a ton of games since he's come over to the Lakers, since, healing from an injury sustained in Dallas on Christmas Day. But I like this because at the end of the day, we're going to dive into an update surrounding LeBron and Rui. The Lakers are going to be healthy very, very soon. And once you get Rui and LeBron back, you get Luka Doncic fully healthy. The goal and the primary goal is going to be the playoffs, right? And that's what matters the most. You look at the standings here now. They are 2 games back of the 2 seed, but they also have 2 games in hand. But tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks, you're obviously going up against Dame and Giannis. This would have been a big game towards the 2nd seed, but now the Lakers are they're ahead of the Denver Nuggets technically they're tied, but they're ahead for all intents and purposes by win percentage by 0.3 against the Nuggets because of the fact that, they beat them yesterday, of course, but now they're in the 3 seed. So if you were really, and the Lakers were really concerned about that 2 seed, they probably would have, maybe pushed Luka a little bit. But what matters here is the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this Luka Doncic update. A pretty interesting one. I know some fans out there were hoping he was going to play tonight just because now without LeBron, without Rui Hachimura, all these things, it's going to be difficult to beat the Milwaukee Bucks team, who at this point are extremely desperate. They have not been playing good basketball. They had a meeting behind closed doors. So it's going to be a huge game tonight to see how they actually perform. And again, the Lakers without Luka almost beat the Nuggets at the time before, the time they played them before yesterday night. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform, when they did last week compared to now, of course, a different team in the Milwaukee Bucks. But Giannis is going to be very difficult to stop. So it's going to be interesting there. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A few other things here. Now, this is a pretty big update. It dropped a little bit ago here surrounding LeBron and Rui Hachimura. Now, we were hoping and we were told that we were going to see an update regarding LeBron and Rui earlier this week. We're now Thursday. I'm yet to receive an update. We may receive one at game time or after the game tonight. We'll keep you up to date with all of that. But Jovan Buha came out and revealed that LeBron and Hachimura could return by the end of the week, which would be, in theory, tonight's game / of course, more than likely, sometime this weekend. And he came out and said, on the bright side, Lakers insider Jovan Buha provided an update that indicates James and Hachimura could return to the floor for the storied franchise sooner rather than later. According to him, James and Hachimura could come back by the end of the week. But while the results haven't always been there, the Lakers are trusting their new offensive process. Luka Doncic is an offense into itself, of course, and it takes time to incorporate that talent 50-plus games into a season. Once James and Rui return, which could be by the end of the week, the Lakers will be well positioned to finally reach their offensive ceiling. So insider Jovan Buha coming out and saying, high likelihood, I'd assume by the weekend would be my, initial guess. I don't think they're going to play tonight. However, by the end of the weekend, and that's why I also think that they're resting Luka Doncic tonight, because they want everybody to be healthy. And maybe by the next game now, they're resting Luka tonight, and then you get LeBron, you get Rui Hachimura back, and then by then you'll be good to go with a fully, the offense that we saw with Luka and LeBron and Rui when they were all healthy before they went down with injuries, but now 10 times better because maybe not actually 10 times better, but significantly better because now Luka has had time to really get acclimated to LA. He's played some games on his own without LeBron. Him and Austin Reaves have really started to complement each other well. It is, it makes a ton of sense, especially now that Luka Doncic is going to get, some well-needed rest tonight against, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks. And he's played, the schedule for the Lakers has been horrible. At the same time, Luka's played fantastic. So I understand it does make sense, but this could also lean to, because he's not playing tonight, laying credits to the fact that a return is definitely on the horizon for these guys. And a couple other things to note here, because this dropped 3 days ago and it kind of went under the radar. Redick doesn't expect LeBron James or Rui Hachimura to be able to get into practice before being able to return, given the tough schedule. I think our next practice is in April, Redick said. Rui Hachimura has been able to do some 3-on-3 work. So that was back on Monday. And he still hasn't returned. Neither of those guys have returned yet. But the fact that they're not going to be able to get into practice, means they're obviously going to return before April. But you have to assume now that the Lakers are going to be, they're just going to bring him back when they're healthy and when they're able to. And that's why, of course, with these reports from Jovan Buha saying they're going to come out by the end of the week, Redick coming out and saying that obviously, no practice is going to be done. These guys could return at any point now. And it's a little bit interesting that we still haven't received an update. I would guess we're going to get one either before the game tonight or after the game, depending on what, probably before the game, surrounding LeBron James. And I would assume they're aiming for a weekend, early next week return for both of these guys. And we've heard reports and rumblings that they're going to return at the same time, Rui and LeBron, which would be perfect. Because then, of course, you get Luka Doncic, gets the rest tonight. Hopefully the Lakers can somehow pull it off against the Milwaukee Bucks, because that would obviously be fantastic. But regardless, if the Lakers win or lose tonight, regardless, getting the team back, getting LeBron back, getting Rui Hachimura back, again, you're now implementing Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic have started to really play and complement each other well, especially without LeBron and Rui Hachimura, who are two guys, specifically LeBron James. Obviously, Rui plays really well off the ball, but that was a big question mark coming in, was how LeBron and Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic will play together. Luka and Reaves now have had time to kind of figure that out themselves. And the standings are very tight. You now have a chance to really go in, continue to push towards the number 2 seed, and things are looking up for the Lakers. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. But again, very unlikely there's stay ready games for Rui and LeBron. I'd have a look at the next 3 weeks, but very unlikely that they practice. I think there's a practice in April. That's just the reality of playing every other day. Even if we do something on the court, there's not going to be any live contact in between games. It's going to be interesting. We've seen Luka Doncic play very solid defense since coming to the Lakers as well. His energy's looked better. He's looked less and less affected by his injuries. We know for a while there and for a stretch with the Lakers, he was, limping, he was grimacing. He looked very good against the Nuggets. And of course, he has started to look really good overall, both in the offensive end and of course the defensive end. So it's going to be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And so hopefully the Lakers will be able to take care of business tonight. But regardless, they're in good shape. Rui and LeBron are on the cusp of returning, and any new updates that drop, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.